Hi, so today we're doing a super fun bag. It's going to be very easy. It's a beginner friendly. I am going to use my domestic machine for those who want to be able to use their domestic and learn how to make some fun things. This is a bag that I am making in a beautiful cotton fabric. But in reality, you could make this bag in more of like a neutral color and then put sublimation on it, or you could put some sort of printing on it, which will make it really pretty and very marketable. So that's something that you want to do. So the bag itself is going to be a great market bag. It's one that you can sell in your markets and in your fairs. So it's going to be very easy to make. It's a fast sew. It may take us a little bit because I'm going to go through teaching you how to make it, but the reality is that once you really get a hold of the bag, I think you're going to love it, and it's going to be a hot sale for you. So just give it a try, see if you like it. You can always make changes to your bag itself, and you can tweak it. But I just want to give you the basics of how to make a little tote bag and how to make it fun. So let's go ahead and get right on it and start making this bag. Okay, so this is going to be the front and the inside, the front, the back, and the lining. So you have the front, the back, the lining, and I'm going to use a very soft foam. I'm going to use one layer from the front, one layer for the back. All of these ones are going to be the same size. And this is going to be an 18-inch in width, and it's going to be at 20 inches in length. Okay. Next, we are going to have a gusset that we're going to have on the top of the bag so we can put a zipper. I really like that. I think that's going to give the bag a really nice touch. I don't have a full piece of fusible interfacing, so I have to join it together. It'll be okay. Just have to join it. So sometimes I do this, and sometimes I get frustrated that I don't have enough, but if you just piece it together, you will be okay. Okay, and I just want to make sure I cover so it doesn't create a line in the middle. Bottom line, this gusset is 15-inch in length and 3 inches in width and 15 inches in length. And you are going to cut two from the main fabric and 2 for the lining. And go ahead and also cut a fusible interfacing so you can put in the middle. I like my gusset to not be falling in too much, to be a little bit firm into place. So make sure you have that. Okay, so we'll put it together in a little bit. Let's just finish going through the pieces. I do have the handle and where we're going to hold the bag from, and the handle is going to be 40 inches in length. Okay, and it's going to be 4 inches in width. So you have 4 in width and 40 in length, and you are going to cut 2 of these pieces. I did cut also a little bit of the foam. This is a very, very light foam, and I just want the handles to feel really soft to see how it gives that little cushy feel, and I just like that for the handle. So I cut 2 of those. I cut it to the same length and width. I may be trimming it, so it's fine, but I did cut it to the same length and width, and I cut 2 of those, 1 for each handle. So 2 handles, 2 inside foam pieces. We're gonna do a really fun pocket with an elastic. This is gonna be the inside color of the pocket, and this is gonna be the outside color of the pocket. And we are gonna have a little bit of an elastic for the elastic is 14.5 inches, and the pocket is 9 inches in length. Let me make sure. Pocket, yeah, it's really 9.25, 9.25, yeah, 9.25 and 13.5 in width. Okay, so you're going to have a lining and a main fabric and a little bit of a foam to make it nice and soft, and then we're going to have a little elastic for the top. Okay, the last thing that we need for this bag is going to be a little zipper tab, which I have a tiny little interfacing for it. It doesn't have to be exact size. I'm going to actually trim this interfacing a little bit. I could have cut it a tiny little bit smaller, but this is going to be a 3x3, and you can cut it to have a little bit of opening, so it doesn't have to be so exact. I just want it to be nice and firm. That looks better. Okay, so let's go ahead and start making the bag. So the first thing I'm going to do is that I'm going to put all my fusible interfacing first. So that would be my gusset and my zipper tab. Everything else has the foam, which I basically sit inside and I sew into the bag. So start with your zipper tabs. And so I'm gonna make it slow. So one thing I forgot to talk to you about is the zipper. So if we have a zipper tab, of course we have a zipper. What was I thinking, right? So here's the zipper tab, the zipper, and this zipper is gonna be 18 inches in length. And I do have a zipper pull, which is a little golden color to match. 18 inches. I am gonna have this. So the bag is gonna let me get it. Give me a second. The gusset is gonna end here, and it's gonna have that little piece extra. It's just gonna let the bag open really nicely. And I think it's going to be cute to have that little bit of a tail. Let's give it a try. I think we've seen it in many bags, and I think it's going to be a really nice touch to this bag. So let's just give it a try. So I'm just going to hold on. I just ironed this and hold it in place. It kind of got a little firm. I love it. I'm going to put it on the side. And let's go ahead and put all the interfacing for the pieces. So I have my main color, and again, this is going to be a market bag. It's becoming a very popular bag among the young people, and they like it. They can throw in their computer, they can throw in their little things. Dancers love it because they can just put their shoes, their stuff they use. I know for the point shoes they have more of a bag that is open, but they have a lot of little things that sometimes they carry, and they cannot, if they cannot have their big bag, they can always have their little bag to take stuff with when they go to friend's house, etc. So it's a very popular thing. And what I like is that if you like the cricket, for example, you can actually make it in a white canvas, or a white like a Dutch canvas, or you can also use an outdoor fabric, and you can just do printouts of different things and make this bag and sell it. And it's just going to be really cool because you can have all kinds of different themes for the same bag, and it would be like a really nice sale. So I do encourage to give it a try and see how it sells, and let me know how it goes. If it sells really good for you. You can always change the kind of pocket and make it your own. And this is just an idea for you to learn how to sew it if you haven't, but you're so I do like to hold this down for like 10-15 seconds, and then it kind of seals nicely, and then I can keep going. These are really the two pieces that I have to interface. Everything else is going to be sewn into the bag, and that's what makes the bag a little bit easier and faster to sew. That you don't have a lot of pieces, and you can just make it really quick. You can do a quick prep of, and you can also make it different sizes. So the main size that I did 18 by 20, you can say, well, I think I want it a little shorter. I want to make a couple a little shorter. I want to make a couple maybe for like little girls or little kids. And you can make a couple like bigger for like some moms. You can make it wider. So you can take the same pattern and modify it and make it what you're looking for your business, which is really nice. Okay, so that looks good. I'm going to go from the front very quickly. Okay, and since I am at this, I am going to iron the piece. This is a Kona fabric. It's really soft cotton. I love it. And this is just a regular cotton. But it's really, really soft. It's really cute. Okay. So we have that. So let's go ahead and get started with making the bag. And the first thing we're going to make is our pocket. So go ahead and get all your pocket pieces. One last thing is that you want to have your tag. And I'm going to be putting my tag on my pocket. So I'm going to pull it out at this time. Some people like to put their tag outside. I like to put it always on my pocket. It's nice. So as you see, I have my foam underneath. This is not a foam that attaches. It has a tiny little shine, so hopefully not, because I wasn't hoping for that. Okay. So what's going to happen is that I'm going to take my lining and I'm going to put it on top together. Okay. That looks good. Okay. And we are going to go to the machine. I am going to be leaving a little corner open here. So I am going to make a mark of where I'm going to leave it open. Right there and right there. So that's going to stay open. And then we are going to go all the way across. I am going to take my little tag and I'm going to put it on the front side. So it's going to be sitting maybe like by the middle here. So here I am going to turn it over and I'm going to make sure that I pin that together so I can remember I have my tag in there. So go ahead and pin or secure it with clips, whatever you have available, and hold everything together. Make sure you hold your foam as well with the whole piece. So I just hold that with the clip because I don't want to ruin the tag by putting the pin through it. There you go. And And once you have that done, go ahead and go to the machine. Notice that my lining is just a tiny bit over for some reason when I cut it. So I am going to go ahead and clean that because I want to make sure that I am sewing. Oh, it's not letting me. Why is that? Oops. That gave me a little more trouble than it should. Okay, let's go to the machine and sew this. So you're gonna sew all the way through and then over. I typically start here so I can go through and I don't have to lift the petals. So I can go all the way across. Okay. Okay, so I am using a beautiful Gutterman's pink, and it has some tones of a lighter white, but it's not white quite. It's just a beautiful roll that I got. So we're going to be using that. It's 100% cotton, and it's going to match this fabric so nicely because of the cotton and because of the color of the fabric. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and get started at the end, and I do like to kind of come up first just to create a tiny little square. Okay, and then turn it over. For those who haven't seen that technique, it just makes it look really nice. Just like things in life, I don't want to go too fast because that way I can make sure everything is sewn correctly. Okay. Okay, and I didn't mention, but I am sewing at 1/4 of an inch. And see how the thread is? It kind of changes color across. It's really cute. And that's where my tag is. So I'm going to keep an eye on it, feel it. There it is. Because my machine feels it. And I am going to go down to finish this. Go back, okay? Okay. Let's see. So that looks great, and you should have the foam on the back, and you should have the other one on the top. So I'm going to go on the corners, and I'm just going to take a quick snip of those corners, just so I can turn the pocket really nicely. Okay, and I'm going to do that in all the corners. Okay, and on my little square, I'm going to take a tiny little snip, but my snip is going to be very small, making sure that I do not cut the stitches. There you go. It's just a tiny little cut, making sure I don't cut the stitches. Okay. Now that we have done that, we are ready to turn this. So we are going to go inside. And I want you to find the corners first and bring them out. I always like to do that first. Just so, and then everything else. Oops, look at that. Oh no. So I have to go back in and kind of give it a little I was too close to the corner. So let me see if there's anything else. The tag looks nice. That came out nice. And the other corner is perfect. So it's just this corner. Let me fix it. And I'm going all the way down because I wanted to make sure it's even, okay? Okay, let me just go here as well. Okay, let me check it out. Let's see. Ah, there's always something, right? I swear. Okay. So that corner is not holding. Let me. So I'm going to go all the way across because I don't want it to be uneven. So that's the only way I can make sure of that. So things like that happen, and it just makes it just a tiny bit shorter, but it really is not going to make a difference. So we are going to be okay with that. And at least I am okay with that, because it's a pattern that, oh my goodness, it still didn't catch it. Okay, let's do it one more time. I can see it there, not wanting to catch. And of course, because I'm making a video, so I'm going to go a little bit shorter. It's going to be okay. I'm going to be okay with that. Okay. And again, I have to go all the way across, because if not, then I will uneven the pouch. So I'm going to have to like clear a little bit of that bulk now. So I am going to do that, but let me make sure this is finally sewn. Finally. Okay, good. Good, good, good. Okay, so we are good. We did it. And we have our tag there. It looks cute. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and iron it so we can make it nice and flat. Okay, so we can have a nice position. Okay, so we're going to iron it, and what's going to happen is that we are gonna take, so we could have the red over, that will make it really cute, or we could have it back and not have the red over. This pocket is gonna crunch in like this. So I actually think that having the red over will look really, really cute because it's gonna give it a nice look. So there's a reason we put the red. Let's use it. So we're going to iron it really nicely, and then we are going to turn it and secure it. So let's go to the table so we can do what we need to do with it, and then we come back to sew it. Iron your pocket nicely. And that little square, we're going to kind of bring it up. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and put a little pin here so I can know that I have to secure this. And most probably I'll be sewing in this direction, so I'm going to bring it like this. There you go. So I really actually like the red under. It looks really cute. So what we're going to do is that we're going to take our little elastic and we're going to put it across all the way to the top. And for this, we are going to use clips pretty much so we can hold that top. So I can hold it. I can hold the piece up top. Okay. Oh, I have chalk here and I just put chalk all over my project. Okay. Okay, so basically we just secure that in place. And when you think about like how far down, we have about almost an inch, just about an inch. You can say it's 3/4 of an inch, but you can say an inch because I could lower it just a tiny bit more and it will be perfect as well. So we're gonna do that. I'm not gonna pull this yet. Okay. But see that when I pull it, I kind of cringe the pocket a little bit. So right now, before I seal that pocket, the first thing I'm going to do is that I'm going to top stitch. So I don't want to stretch it at all first. I just want to top stitch along this line and then down. Down over. So I can close this bottom and then go across here. And I'm going to finish here, because then is when I pull and decide how much pull do I want to have and how close I want to have this pocket. Okay, so let's do that right now. Okay, so put your piece there. Remember that we're not quite sealing this pocket yet, so don't go high and don't close the end. We're just going to stretch it nicely so it can have the full length and it can make a nice top stitch. I am coming from the bottom. I'm doing about a 5/8 of an inch. Okay. And I'm going to do a back stitch to start. And then I'll have to move this up because it's going to be in the way. make sure you control the piece with both hands, so that way your line is as straight as possible, because you really can't see a guide here. Okay. And as I do this, I'm stretching the cotton a little bit. I'm gonna backstitch there a little bit. Okay, and then I'm gonna turn it over. Let me go ahead and lift it, and I'm gonna sew down at 1/4 of an inch to make it a little nicer, okay? Turn it over again, and that is looking precious, okay? You know, in reality, you can do an even simpler pocket than this, but this pocket is just going to look darling. Okay, and I finished right there. I'm going to backstitch. Okay. And let's go ahead and clean those little pieces very quick. There you go. Okay. Beautiful. So let's go ahead and take the clips out, because now it's time for us to pull it. Okay. So we have it there. I'm going to go ahead and pull and crunch it a little bit. Once you choose your spot, you just want to hold it in place. You can do a pin or a clip, either way. That looks really, really cute. Okay. Okay, there you go. So what do you think? Is it too tight? No? Not really. It looks cute. Okay, I think I like it like that, not tighter. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and finish that stitch now. So I put it at the end. And basically I just closed that there, and now I can cut that little extra piece. Okay. Now I'm going to do the same thing to the other side. Okay, perfect. I think that's going to look adorable. So I cut that little piece and it came out perfect. I absolutely love it. Let's go ahead and put it on the inner liner so we can see how it's going to look. Okay. So you're going to go ahead and get one of your lining pieces. So what's going to happen is that I am going to go ahead and I'm going to fold it so to the length that you have the highest piece. I'm going to fold it in half and I'm going to mark the center with a little snip on the top and on the bottom. There we go. Okay. Although I am not going to cut my little pocket, I am going to go ahead and fold it in half. And I am going to use my iron to press it a little bit. I mark my piece and mark my center. So basically, now that I mark it, I know this is the center of the piece. So see how I use my pin to do that. So now I'm going to decide how high I'm going to do it. I know I'm going to be having zipper all the way at the top. I do want to be about 3 inches down. So I'm going to find 3 inches down. It's right there. And I'm going to put my little cut and my pin with each other so it can be right at the center. So that looks really good. I'm just going to pin it down there just to hold it in place while I pin the piece together. So now I'm going Okay, so I'm just going to pin it and I'm going to stretch it out. I think it's going to look super cute, different, unique. Unique is great. It makes it more marketable. So I would encourage you can stretch it a little bit. There you go. So I am going to look at the height of my 2 corners. I want them to be at the same height so it doesn't look uneven. If not, I'm going to stretch it. There you go, that looks good. Now I can take this out. Okay, that looks adorable. Is it straight? Let's see. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and sew across all the way to here. So from here and then over, okay? So just so it can look pretty, instead of sewing over the line that I sewed before, I'm going to go about 1/8 of an inch in from that line. Okay? So it gives it a double line look. It's pretty. Okay, let's see it. That looks adorable. And see how I did the double line? So it actually doesn't look forced. It just looks like it's part of it. And it's just going to have a super adorable pocket, and your tag is on the side. At least mine, I decide to put there. Okay, gorgeous. Let's move on to the next piece. Okay, next we are going to do our handles. Okay. So I'm just going to start by getting all my pieces. So I have my handle of my foam inside and my handle of my foam, and I'm going to go ahead and iron it a little bit as I go through. So start with doing that. So I think it helps me see if I have a bit too much. So I'm going to cut that, which I do. Okay. Okay, and I am going to go ahead and cut a little bit of that excess on that side. Okay. It's just a tiny bit. I mean, you can save it if you want to. I'm not going to, but you can do that. So what's going to happen is that I'm going to go ahead and take it. I'm going to turn it. So imagine you are doing binding. So it's going to feel like doing binding a little bit. So I'm going to kind of fold it to the center and then fold it to the center again. And I'm going to start ironing right there. Okay. Just so you can start creating the look that we are going for. Okay, and go all the way across. There you go. Now I'm going to go ahead and fold it one more time. And flatten it with your iron. I'm going to go ahead and, it's hot, very, very hot. Okay, I'm going to get the pins. So I'm going to go ahead and pin it across all the way through. So it does make for a skinny handle, but that's why we made it a comfy skinny handle. Because the foam makes it nice and comfy. Ooh, it's hot. Ay, 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 ay. I say that because my iron is super duper hot. So I'm gonna go back, and at the end, I'm gonna open that a little bit, and I want you to fold it in and then close it. And we are gonna do that in the other side, which I missed, so I'm gonna do it very quick. We haven't sewn anything, so we can rescue anything right now. There you go. So you have a nice close look. Okay, so let's do the same at the end here. I'm gonna fold it in and then over. That's it. Easy. Okay, no stress. There you go. So that one is ready for sewing, and we are gonna sew down, and then I'm gonna close it and then sew the other way over. Okay, so let's put the other one together, and then we go to the machine. So fold it in and in first. So let's go ahead and fold it in and then over. And clip it in place. A way to avoid having to do straps is by doing using webbing. Webbing will make it a lot faster. The same thing. For this bag, I just want to have the cute look of the homemade straps and the straps that are with the same fabric as the main piece. So I really want this bag to have that instead of having webbing, but you can always use webbing for it. It will just make it nice and easy. You can always use the seatbelt webbing. That was nice and sturdy, nice and strong. I have some of that. I don't want to use that for this project, but those are alternative for the straps that you can use, which will make it really nice as well. And these ones are going to be simple straps. They're not going to be or hardware or anything, because we're doing like a quick market bag, and that's pretty much what they get. So yeah. Okay. So almost done with this. Okay, and then okay, I'm gonna take them to the machine, and we're gonna do them really quick. Some people put double-sided tape inside so they can stay put in place. I like to try to use the least amount of products when I'm making my bags, so that's why I don't use it. Sometimes I do use a little bit of it, but I try not to. So that's a choice that you can do too, to keep it in place and sew it nice and quick. But you use a lot of product, and I want to make the least expensive bag and sell it for the best price possible. Okay.
So I'm going to sew this at a quarter of an inch all the way across so it can look really pretty. Oh, I just hit my head. Okay. These straps are so cute. Oh my goodness. I can't. Oh, this is going to look so adorable. Okay. And before I keep my fingers on this side, I am guiding my fabric. Okay. So that's my first strap. I'm just going to cut those little stragglers right there. Okay.
And that looks adorable, I have to say. Okay, let's do the other one.
Keep an eye on it because so keep the eye on this stitching because sometimes it just gets a little slippery somehow and it may move and you want to make sure you're touching both sides. Okay, it's catching it. This side is much easier because it just is. Almost there. Okay. Perfect. So, okay. Okay, oopsie, got stuck. So it looks adorable and it's all cute. So we're going to go to our bag so we can be able to put it on the front before we do our gusset.
Okay, before I take my main piece, I'm gonna go ahead and give it a quick iron just so I can flatten these pieces and they can feel great. There you go, that looks good. Perfect. Okay, so go ahead and get one of your main pieces. And your main piece is going to be with the foam. So go ahead and get one of the pieces of foam as well. And put it down. And put your fabric over as well. Make sure that if you have a print, the print is looking up nicely. Okay. And I'm going to give it a quick press because I haven't pressed this yet. And I want to make sure it looks nice after it's sewn. Okay, and then super quick. Okay, So I press my piece just so it can be really nice. We are going to be doing both sides. So we can put our handles in each side. So what we're going to do is that I want you to fold it in half. Okay. And go by the fabric, not by the foam. Okay. And I'm going to put it in half and I'm going to cut. And actually I have to trim that extra so it doesn't confuse me, because it's already confusing me. Okay, so now I'm going to fold it in half and I'm going to take a little cut on the top. There you go. And I'm going to do the same thing to the bottom, just so I can mark my centers. Okay. Beautiful. So this is what's going to happen. This is going to be for our bag. And I am going to, so I have my center mark there, and I'm going to hold it with a pin. And I'm going to go ahead and measure from the inside 3.5 inches over. And then I'm going to put them there. So it's going to be 3.5 inches, and you can go ahead and mark it. So this is 3.5 inches, and then 3.5 inches to the other side. It's here. So I'm going to measure one more time, and I am at 5 inches now. Okay, just a little bit under. There you go. 5 inches is good. I like 5 inches. Okay. So see what I did? This is something I do quite a bit. Like I use my mannequin to, or my doll to be able to measure and try things out and see if I like the look that I created. If it's not quite, then I can change it. I can adapt it. It's just nice for me to do that. Okay, so that looks great. So I'm going to do the same in the other side. So remember, we're going at a 5-inch mark. So let's take the other side. And again, I have the foam piece. And I have, it's not really a foam, it's like a, it's used more for, you can make quilting with it. It's nice. Type of fleecy. Okay, so I go ahead and okay, I just got the excess on the sides, so let me go ahead and iron it so it can be even. Just to the other side. Okay, and I'm going to bring it into the center. And I'm going to cut a little snip just so I can have my center, and then same thing at the bottom. Okay, and then open it. And because I use this piece that I can pin down, I go ahead, I'm going to pin my center in place so my fabric doesn't move. I'm gonna measure my 3.5 inches that I did before and my 3.5 inches to the other side. And then I'm gonna take my handle, and I'm gonna go ahead and measure my 5 inches down. Okay, there you go. Okay, and basically I just need 3, 1 and then 1 on the other side so it doesn't move. Okay, there you go. And let me make sure it's even. Okay, and then I take my 3.5 inch mark and I mark my 5 inches that I decided down. There we go. And I pin it in place. So one thing that I want to mention, when I sew this, I am going to start my sewing an inch under. So it's an inch here. And you can put a pin to know that. So that is an inch. And I am going to start sewing right there. I can take this out now. I'm going to start sewing there because I want to leave that corner free so I can be able to not bulk the seam on the top. Okay, so I'm going to do the same on this side. I want to know where my inch under is. There it is. And that is where I'm going to start sewing. And then just sew there. I'm going to look at the other one. Make sure you check your handle, that the curve of the handle is perfect before you start sewing. And I'm going to take the other one and do exactly the same thing. And also check that both of the handles are sitting on the same location. Okay, everything is good there. I just need to mark my 1 inch here with my pin. There you go. And 1 inch here. Beautiful. Okay, everything looks great. Let's go to the machine. So you want to check everything so you don't have to release anything. And everything is just sitting where it's supposed to sit. Okay, we checked the length and everything is going to be great. Okay, let's go to the machine. Okay, so remember we're going to start sewing an inch down, which is right there. I can take that pin now out. And I can take this one as well. And I can start sewing right there. And I am going to close with a little square at the top. Okay. And that looks really cute. And see how we left 1 inch over just so we don't bulk that top. Okay. And I am going to cut that little extra there. There you go. Good. Beautiful. Let's do the other one. I have to say I'm loving this fabric so much. It is so pretty, so pretty. Okay. Turn it over. So here I'm gonna put my finger where I should not go any farther from. Okay, so that way I don't go over the 1 inch. Beautiful. Okay, and there you go. Oh, that looks darling. Okay, perfect. The length is great and everything is great. Okay, let's do the other side. And again, I want to keep an eye on my 1 inch right there and come up. Okay, and the last one for this. Okay. Okay. Okie dokie, there we go. Let's find my 1 inch. Okie dokie. There we go. So let's go to the table so we can put it together. Everything looks so pretty. It's coming out nice. We're going to do the gusset next. Okay, I just want to show you how they look before we move to the gusset. And they're looking adorable. See how you left that inch on the top? That's beautiful. And we left an inch on the top. That's great. Okay, so this bag is going to be adorable. So let's go ahead and get the gusset pieces for the next. Okay. Okay, next we're doing the gusset. So for this, you are going to need your 2 lining pieces, and you are also going to need your, so you have the 2 front or main pieces, 1 with lining, and the 2 gusset pieces, the 2 inside lining pieces, with the gusset in place. Okay, you are going to need your zipper as well, your zipper tabs. Here it is, your zipper tab, which already has the interfacing and your tag. Go ahead and get either some clips or some pins so we can be able to secure things together. Okay, so I'm going to start by quickly giving everything a quick press, just so everything is going to look gorgeous when we are done. Okay, and what we're going to do first, so for the zipper tabs, what we're going to do, go ahead and get your lighter. You are going to go ahead and fray that end right there, and I'm going to fray the other end. Let's go ahead and prep the zipper first. I am deciding to sew it together first, then put the zipper tab, and then put the little tab at the end, just so it can look nicer. I think so, just so it doesn't bunch up in the middle. Okay, so we are going to take our main piece first, and this is a main piece, and when it comes to the look, I want to make sure it kind of has that look, so all the little cactus are going to look in that direction. So if you have a printed fabric, you do need to worry about the fabric, where is it lining to. So go ahead and pay attention to what your fabric looks like, so you can be able to work with that. Okay, with that being said, that looks nice. So I'm going to move one over. I'm going to start with this one. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and lay it like that, and I'm going to lay it down, and I'm going to lay my zipper down, and I'm going to hold it in place. I think I'm going to use clips just so it doesn't I can use pins, it doesn't matter. Yeah, let's use pins. I've been using pins all this time. We're good. So notice how I came to the edge here, but then I have a tail on the right side, and that's what I want to have. Okay, so right now I'm not measuring the center because I'm gonna go ahead and mark my center when I get to putting it on the actual fabric. For now, it's gonna be okay. So I check it always to make sure it's gonna look like I want to, and then I'm gonna take my one that has the, so I'm going to put that in the other side. I should have put that on this side, and I didn't, so therefore I'm going to put this on this other side, and I just realized that, and that's okay. Okay, so I'm going to put the one that does not have the interfacing with the one that has interfacing. So it really doesn't matter if it's on the front or the inside, because they're going to be together. And that was something I should have done when I put it together, but I didn't, so that's okay. Okay, so we are going to go ahead and sew that across. Okay, I am placing my piece at 1/4 of an inch so I can sew across. I am going to backstitch. Okay, so that looks good. Okay, and let's go do the other side. Um, so one thing that I noticed here, I should have curled this over. So I am gonna open it and do it before I move on. Yeah, I'm gonna do that. Sorry, guys. So let's say you don't want to do that, okay? We can go ahead and you know what? Because we can add just a little corner to it, and that would look really pretty. So we're gonna do that. We're gonna add a corner there at the end. You'll see it. It's gonna be cute. Okay. Yes, we're gonna do that because I'm not gonna make you break it and then redo it. It's not fair. Okay. Okay. Let's go ahead and put the other side. Okay, so because I did not fold the end of the zipper over, this is going to be non-sewn. So I am going to add a border at the end, right there. That is going to give it a really pretty look. So I went ahead and cut a piece, like a little extra piece, and I got it on 7.5 inch in length and 2.5 inches in width. Okay, so we are going to be adding that piece at the end. So if you can cut one tiny piece like that, that would be great. It's going to be used to create a little corner there. Okay, because I do not want to open that and fold it. I kind of don't like that look. That's why I didn't do it initially, and then I realized, oh wait, it's gonna be left not covered, and I don't like that either. So okay, so let's go ahead and put the other piece of the gusset. So again, I make sure my little what do you call it, cactuses are looking up, and I go ahead and turn it over and place it to the end and end. Okay. And I just want to let you know, when I sew my bags, I think about them and then I just make it. So with that being said, if something is not absolutely perfect initially, I try to kind of think about it quite a bit until I can get it the way I want to. Okay. So I'm going to put that there. Okay, let's go on the machine and sew across. That's going to look like that. And in the other side, it's going to look like that, okay? So let's go on the machine. So let's go ahead and put it at 1/4 inch. So let's go to the other table to kind of make it nice and pretty, okay? Okay, so for our gusset, let's go ahead and iron it so it can be nice and in place. Okay. And I'm still not gonna put the pull in place. Go from the back and make sure. There we go. Okay. So what I did is that I went ahead and cut a little extra 3 pieces, and I'll show you what we're gonna do with them. So this one, the main one, is gonna be 7.5 to 2.5 inches in width, and then the little ones are about 2.5 times 3 3/4. Okay. And let me just write it for myself. Okay. So the reason I did that is that what's gonna do, I'm gonna go ahead and top stitch this, and I'm gonna close the seam at an 1/8 of an inch. I could do a 1/4. So I'm gonna close it, the whole thing around. Make sure you don't sew over the zipper, okay? And then I'm gonna go ahead and take this piece and I'm gonna create a border right there, okay? So I can close it and make it look really pretty. And this one, I'm gonna do the same, and I'll show you how I do this. I'm gonna fold it and then bring it over. Make a tiny little fold before you start there. Okay. And we can actually place it and sew. So I am gonna hold it in place. There we go. And I'll do the same thing with this one. Sorry. There we go. There we go. Okay. So let's just go ahead and secure this corner in place. So when I fold it, see how it's gonna look really cute. Okay. So let's go ahead and put this together. So what I cut these extra pieces, and I have the measurements on the descriptions. They're going to be about 2.5 to 3/4 inch. These 2 little pieces, and then 1 piece that is going to be 7.5 to 2.5 inches in width, and that one is going to go at the end here, and these ones are going to go here and here. Okay, just to hold everything together and make everything finish really pretty. With that being said, I'm just gonna hold them to the side for now because I want to do a top stitch and close everything really nicely. So let's go to the machine and do that. Make sure that you iron so it can stay really nice and flat. Okay, and I'm gonna go ahead and put this here. just so it can hold it in place. But when I top stitch, I'm gonna go across, down, down, over, and then I'm gonna jump the zipper and then go across, down, over, and then also through the main area. Okay. Okay, so let's go to the machine. So let's go ahead and do the top stitching of this. And basically I'm doing it at 1/4 of an inch from the edge. Okay. Okay, that looks good. And let's do the other one. Okay, so I'm not so worried about the edge because this is going to be hidden in within the fabric. I'm just going to work now on covering this corner. Okay, so let's do that. Okay, so again I'm sewing at 1/4 of an inch. And this one I am going across the zipper. Okay. So I am going to go ahead and bring it up and over. And over once more. And as you can see, it falls below the upper layer, and I am going to sew right under that seam. Okay. Okay, and it looks really pretty for having it closed. And that's how it looks in the bottom, on the bottom. Okay, we are gonna do the same with this ones, but this ones we are not gonna go over the zipper because the zipper needs to be able to open all the way across. So we're just gonna do it 1/4 of an inch. And I take my pin off. Let me just do that, okay? And notice that I came to the edge there. I may have to kind of fold it over a little bit more. That's okay. And then I'm gonna bring it over because I'm not gonna distort the end of that zipper pull. And I am gonna go ahead and fold it a second time. There we go. And I am gonna do the same thing that I did in the other one. See how it's sandwiched together and the bottom one is longer. So I want you to see how it's gonna look. It's gonna look really nice. So everything is captured underneath, okay? So we're gonna do the same in the other one. I could have brought that one little tiny piece in. Just cut it. Okay. And I'm gonna do the same thing here. Okay. And I am gonna fold it over. So let me just cut the extra little threads are sitting around and turn it over and over. And we are gonna do the same. Okay, that looks so pretty. Now I have to put the zipper pull and then we are gonna put the end. So let me get my zipper pull so we can do it. So I went ahead and closed it in and sewed and then I'm just gonna pull it through, up and up. And now I'm gonna go to my sewing machine to use it to flatten this nicely. But I'm gonna make sure that this piece is folded. We're gonna do the same thing we did with the straps, that we fold it in a little bit and then we close. So that way it has a better finish, see, like that. And then I am gonna kind of bring it down and sew them to the edge. And it's gonna have a really nice zipper tab. It's not too long, it's not too short, it's just perfect, okay? So go to your ironing iron and do that so we can come back to the machine and sew it together. So I went ahead and secured it with one pin, but it looks really nice. Let's go ahead and sew it. So I am going about 1/4 of an inch from the edge up to start sewing to make sure everything gets caught in there. Okay. Okay. You could make an X, it will make it look pretty. Okay, it looks so cute. So our gusset is finished. Let's go ahead and go on the table so we can put it together. So we have finished our gusset. As you can see, we can open it and close it. Now it opens to the right. So pretty. And we can like close it, and it looks so nice. It looks so well finished. So I am happy with the product. Okay, so let's go ahead and get your main pieces. First, okay, and you have marked your middle section there. So I want you to go ahead and take the gusset, and with the fabric piece, I want you to fold it in half from what you have made, and without going below the line of the stitching that you did, you are going to mark your center. So go ahead and get it nice and even, and then mark your center. And as you can see, I did not go below the line. Okay, and then I'm going to do the same to the bottom piece, the bottom side. Okay, there we go. And I have my centers marked. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead, and this is the right side. So it opens to the right. I want it to open to the right. So I'm gonna put it like that. With that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and put it looking down like that, because it's gonna fold into the inside. So I'm gonna put it like that, and then I'm gonna pin it in place. Okay, and do to both sides. And for the purpose of avoiding that my straps get in the way, I'm gonna go ahead and hold those straps in place with a pin. So for me, this makes sure that they are not gonna come up or be pulled, because the pin is basically pulling them down. So they're staying out of the way completely. Okay. So I put that piece there. I'm gonna take now the lining cover, and you can do either one of your linings. So I have the lining that has that pretty pocket, and I'm gonna put it down over, and go ahead and match those centers. Again, ow. Those pins are sharp. Okay. And here, now I am, so see how it finishes there, but here I am gonna finish. I'm gonna put it nicely aligned, and I'm gonna finish all the way to the end. Beautiful. Okay. And I do the same to the other side. And because I want to make sure that everything is cut really nicely and the seam of the gusset is not seen, I am actually gonna sew at a 1/2 inch. So I'm gonna come down at a 1/2 inch from the edge of the lining, a 1/2 inch over instead of a 1/4 inch, because I want to make sure that the seam is not going to get caught by mistake wrong. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and revise first before I sew. So I have my lining, I have my gusset that is going to be on top of the lining, and then I have my main piece. Okay, beautiful. Everything looks so pretty. So I'm going to turn it over and let's go to the machine and do that stitching. So we're going to go across a 1/2 inch. So go ahead and position your fabric at a 1/2 inch, and I make sure with my ruler I have my 1/2 inch. Okay, perfect. Okay, yes, there you go, right there. And again, that's just going to make sure that everything falls where it needs to fall and no stitching is left shown underneath. Okay, I'm going to do a back stitch to start, and I'm going to hold it so it doesn't, typically when things get a little heavy it starts pulling, so I want to make sure it doesn't. And remember how we sew the straps an inch down, so that way it's not going to get in the way from this stitch. It's going to be perfect. Okay, I lost a pin. Let me rescue it. There you go. Not sure if I had a pin there. I don't think I had a pin there. No. Oh, there is a pin. Okay. And I recommend that you put your hand so you can feel what's underneath. That way you are aware. Okay. So everything looks good. I'm just gonna lift it to make sure everything's sewed the way I want it to. Yes, and because I went to a 1/2 inch, it doesn't, you cannot see the seam at all. Love it. Okay, let's go ahead and put the other side. Okay, so I am gonna do a very quick press at the top. To make sure everything starts falling into place the way I want to. Okay, beautiful. Doesn't that look absolutely gorgeous? So gorgeous. Okay, so that's that. Let's go ahead and get our other side. So we have our other top, and we are going to lower those handles, and now you can release the handles really for this side so they don't poke you, because those pins tend to poke me quite a bit. Okay, so I put it there, and I'm going to go ahead and bring my gusset over, and I have marked my center already, right? So you're going to put it there with the face to face, so the main fabric to main fabric, and then make sure you put it with the fabric, not with the foam. Okay, and we're gonna go ahead and pin it across, And I think this bag is gonna be fabulous. I'm really excited of how it's gonna come out. It's all on the detail, you know? Okay, and again, I don't want those handles to get in the way, so you can hold them together or not. There we go. And I'm gonna take my lining and bring it over. Okay. And I have not marked the centers of this lining, have I? No. So I'm gonna go ahead and fold it and mark the center. Okay. And do the same in both sides. Both sides. Okay. There we go. And take that center and match it. Make sure you have the right, this is the Kona fabric, is so cute, but there you go. Yes, okay. Okay. And I'm gonna come to that edge and move my pins over. And again, remember, we are gonna sew at a 1/2 inch this to make sure that seam is not gonna show whatsoever. Okay. I don't know about you, but I'm really excited about the ending of this. I think it's gonna be super duper cute. Let me just lift this a little bit more. There we go. Okay. Perfect. And let's go ahead and take it to the machine. And I'm gonna go at 1/2 inch all the way down. Okay. So make sure you have your 1/2 inch. Yep, perfect. And it's starting to get a little heavy when it comes to the weight of the fabric together. So I like to maybe squish it together so it's not gonna pull down on you. And again, feel, so there's the handle, but it's 1 inch or under, so it shouldn't be a problem because we put it at 1 inch. Okay, and once more we are gonna check that it sewed the way we want it to, and it did, and it did. Looks gorgeous. Okay, so it's looking absolutely gorgeous. Let's go ahead and clean up a little bit the bag, any threads that are kind of sticking out. Okay. Okay, that looks super pretty. So what's gonna happen next is that I am gonna go ahead and put the, actually let me iron this part first so it can get the shape that I want. Look how pretty that gusset looks. So pretty. Okay. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead, let's hold these friends together, and we are gonna take the top with the top. I'm gonna bring it over and I'm gonna put it together. I'm gonna have to put the straps down so they don't get in the way. Okay. And one thing that we're gonna do is that this is a moment that we have to make sure we open that zipper, because if not, we are gonna be in trouble because we won't be able to turn over the bag. So I am gonna go ahead and put the lining together. So we are gonna match right here at the top. I want to make sure I match that really nice. Okay. Okay. So I have a little extra foam here. I am gonna cut it so visually it doesn't confuse me and I don't sew by mistake the fabric like I'm supposed to. Okay, so I take that extra out and I'm gonna do the same at the bottom. Okay, there you go. Perfect. So I did match this corner right here, match it really nicely, and I'm gonna match the other one. There we go. Okay. And now I'm gonna match it together. So most probably I'm gonna start sewing on that corner. So these pins I'm gonna put looking down. Okay, so this, for the main side, you are gonna pin it all the way through. So don't be fearful about that. Okay, that looks great. Okay, this is almost done. You're gonna see, it's gonna be so pretty. Okay, I'm gonna take that excess out because it visually gets in my way. Okay, there we go. And then the bottom. And see how they match right there. So that's really nice. My two centers match. So this came out really nice right there. Okay. Okay, that's perfect. And I am also gonna pin the other side. For this side, I am gonna leave an opening. And my opening is just gonna be about that much. It's about a 6 inch in width. Okay, that's what I tend to leave in from the center. So 3 and 3. So I tend to leave open a 6-inch gap. It's perfect for me for that gap. So make sure you take that zipper in, so it's not going to be pinned by mistake where it's not supposed to. Okay, and bring them together nicely. Okay. And like I say, this seems to take quite a bit of time, but once you are really proficient with making your bag, you're gonna feel like you can make this so fast. I'm just holding this center in place, but I'm not sewing there, just so it doesn't pull on me. For those that are starting to sew, see how I put the pins in the order that my machine goes? And make sure you take that inside. Okay, so that way it's so easy for you to sew across. Okay, and that looks really good. Okay, I think it's going to be really nice. Okay, let's go ahead and go to the machine and sew this around. Okay, so I like to start from the center just to make sure everything kind of falls where it needs to fold. So this is gonna be fast. I put it on my fast sewing. And I am sewing at a 1/2 inch all the way around, okay? And the pins are under. No, this is not a good start. Why are the pins looking under? Okay, because I put it wrong. Okay, so this one I am closing completely inside, and I am gonna lift it because it is a 1/2 inch and it went over a little bit. Okay. Okay. Okay, there you go. I have to say, I absolutely love the color combination of this bag. It's so pretty. So here I go down just so I can have a really nice closing on up. Okay. Making a little square corner, okay? Do that same thing. So I feel the zipper there. I'm gonna push it a little more because I don't want to sew it by mistake. There you go. Okay. Okay, that's great. Let's go to the table. So that looks good. So before I move to the next step, I am gonna check everything very quick to make sure there's no open gaps. It doesn't look like it, so it's good. And I want to make sure my zipper is open. I believe I did open it. It's gotta put my hand through. Okay, yes, I can go through. Okay, that looks good. So the next thing that is going to happen is that I'm going to box my corners. I didn't do that before because this is a moment that I want to do that. And I'm going to get my marker for that. So I marked 2 inches, and what I'm gonna do is that I just wanna box the corner, okay? And I wanna box the corner at 2 inches, okay? So when you look at the top, I have 2 inches from the top in the center, and I have 2 inches in the length, okay? And I want to go ahead and box that and do the same thing with the other side. Okay, and then I'm going to do 2 inches from the bottom. So I am going to put them together with the other ones. Don't okay, let me look one with the other. to make sure they're at the same height. Okay, this one's a little lower. Okay, there we go. Okay. I am moving it because I need to make sure they are equal, and I have the feeling it's not equal. Now it's equal. That's 2 inches. There you go. Okay, so that's good. And I'm gonna do the same thing with these corners. Okay, so we're gonna take it like this. And I'm gonna mark the center right there. So I am not cutting it, as you see. I'm just gonna pin it and sew and then cut. Okay. Okay. There we go. That looks good. Okay, this one is a little low. Yes, okay. So let's go ahead and sew these corners, and then we are gonna put them together. Okay. Okay, let's sew all the corners together. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and sew this. One. Two. Okay, and then 2 more. Okay, where is it? Like this. Oops, sorry. And last one, this one. let's finish it up. So before I cut it, I'm gonna go ahead and put it sideways like this, okay? And I'm gonna take the color or the lining together with the other piece, and I'm gonna match them together. So I'm gonna match them together, and then I'm gonna go ahead and pin them together. There you go. And I'm gonna do the same thing to the other side. So the line that's the sewing line, so I'm gonna squeeze everything else in the center, and I'm gonna match these two together. It's gonna feel like a sandwich, but it's great. So I'm gonna match these two together, and I'm gonna pin it. So don't cut anything yet. You're gonna go to the machine, and we're gonna sew across here, and we're gonna sew across here, okay? So it should look like that, like a little interesting burrito. Okay, so we're there. So the thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna make sure I push everything over, so nothing that doesn't need to be sewn is sewn. And then I'm gonna stitch these two together. Yes. Okay, and I'm gonna do the same thing to the other side. So I'm gonna push everything away, so nothing that doesn't need to be sewn is sewn. So what this is doing, this is gonna hold everything, the lining down, which is nice. You don't want that. You don't want to have the lining all over the place. Okay, let's go to the tape. Okay, we just did that. So now we are gonna go ahead and get your scissors. And you can go ahead and go across. I'm gonna leave about a 1/2 inch there. Okay, just that. And then I do the same thing in the other side. Beautiful. Okay, and now we're gonna turn this back. So let's go ahead and bring everything through. Okay. There we go. Oh, that looks so nice. So pretty, look at that. Oh, so pretty. So before we close it, so we see how it's, the bottom is boxed, and it's not just boxed, but it's supported together, which is really nice. We are gonna close that right there, but before we close, let's make sure everything looks perfect. So we're gonna turn it over. Oh, this looks so pretty. Okay. And we have to top stitch the back as well. But overall, our market bag came out absolutely gorgeous. Everything is, you see how beautiful the bottom is boxed. Okay, you have a nice ending, and you have a nice zipper on the top. And then when you open it, you have a beautiful fun pocket inside, and the lining is hold down. Okay, so I'm gonna do 2 more things to finish this bag. One of them is gonna be Let me just cut that little flyer. I'm gonna close the bottom inside, and then I'm gonna top stitch the bag on the top. So let's go ahead and close the inside first. Okay, and look how beautiful that pocket look. It's kind of like a little shape to it. So cute. Ah, love it. Okay. Okay, and I iron it so it can like feel that's the shape that I want. And I'm just gonna close this very cute. It's gonna be a little tiny closure. Okay, let's go ahead and do that very quick. I'm gonna do that in the machine and just come back so we can prepare the bag for top stitching. Okay, so I did a super quick stitch, basically at 1/8 of an inch, very, very, very little, okay? And let's go ahead and turn your bag over. Turn it over. And I'm just gonna push it a little bit. And I am gonna close the zipper because everything is turned and everything. Ah, what happened here? Okay, wait. Okay, there you go. Let's put this inside. There you go. So I am putting all this in so I can iron it, and I can start basically pressing it down so I can top stitch the final. That little foam that we use, it's more used for quilting. It's so nice and soft, and it makes it so easy with your machine. So it's very domestic machine friendly, and this border feels so nice. We kept everything to the minimal on the edge, which made it so nice. Okay, so I have secured everything, and I'm gonna go ahead and pin it the way I want it to feel. And again, we sewed this to 1 inch from the end. We used a 1/2 inch, and we have a 1/2 inch left. So we are gonna use a 1/4 inch to sew the border on the top, or the top stitch, which is a good height. Oh, look how pretty. I love it. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and go across at a 1/4 inch. Again, we have a 1/2 inch left. We're gonna use only a 1/4 to be able to sew that, and that's gonna be perfect for our handles. So meet me at the machine so we can finish up this gorgeous bag. So I'm gonna start from the side, and I'm gonna put it looking up. Okay, so I can get the look that I want. And I need to push that down a little bit more. Okay, there we go. There we go. Okay, let's do it. Just a little back stitch. Okay. finish it. Yes. Okay. Perfect. Okay, let's cut that little straggler out. And this one's okay. We got it. Let's go to the table so we can finish off. Okay. Okay, so you know, you saw that we had a little kind of moment with the top stitching, but I think that was fine. It's not a big deal. See how beautiful that corner ends right there? I'm just super excited. And your zipper, so now we can take that up and let it kind of be. So you can either kind of put it in or you can kind of let it be. So everything looks great. I'm so excited. The bag came out gorgeous. Okay, so the bag came out absolutely gorgeous. I am super happy. It's a beautiful market bag. You can take it, it sits on your shoulder really nicely, and it has some really nice pockets. So I'm really excited. I hope you like it. I hope you enjoyed making it. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask, and I'll hope I see you next time. Take care. Bye.